voiceatlanta.com. So let me ask you this, Dr. Roberts. I was taking notes as you were talking because I know the importance of listening to my older brothers. I'm not gonna say elders because that sounds old. You're not an old man. But my older brothers, the individuals that paved the way for people like me, yourself, Dr. Claude Anderson, and Kenny Gamble, Dr. George Frazier, others, I pay attention, and because I think that there's a wisdom there. And I want to ask you this question. I'd be curious to know your answer. I have several thoughts that came to mind, but one thing is this. I noticed that you were born in 1948, if you don't mind me mentioning that. And that was before we had this social phenomenon called integration.
Yes.
Now, I was born after integration. I saw a different kind of world than what you saw. On one hand, my parents had similar common sense values like yourself. Like my mother, your mother, I believe your mom became a teacher, and she was also a homemaker. My mother was a guidance counselor, so which is a lot like a teacher. And my dad was a police officer, so he also had that steady job. But there was a value system in the household, a type of personal responsibility that we believe is made the difference. We were born in the projects, but my sister's a physician. My brother went to Cornell. I have a PhD. We all did. We had different outcomes from a lot of our friends, and a lot of it I attribute to the fact that my parents had a value system that would be defined as conservative. And it almost seems like, maybe the Republican Party's kind of hijacked things like personal responsibility, but I believe in that very deeply. I believe in those ideas, and it sounds like that's what your parents believed in too. Can you speak to whether or not you believe that, the integration itself, just this idea that, that somebody else's ice is colder, that it's better to get out of the hood and move across town. It's better to go work for somebody else than it is to go build your own. Can you speak to how this has shifted our community and the odds of success amongst our young people?
Well, let me begin by saying that, it was once quoted that the person who does not enjoy the fruits of their labor is a slave, a modern day slave, if you will. Earlier, I mentioned the term golden handcuffs. I was slowly and softly suggesting that perhaps having a job is a form of modern day slavery. You just don't enjoy the fruits of the labor. The family members of the companies that you're working for enjoy the fruits of your labor, but your family does not. And too frequently, what I find is even my friends who are very successful with jobs continue to live paycheck to paycheck. I've written a book, Action Has No Season, Strategies and Secrets to Gaining Wealth and Authority. It's been out a number of years. Within the next 30 to 45 days, my second book is coming out, and it's going to be Action Has No Season 2.0. And in it, I discuss a variety of things, including one's mindset. And how is it that your mindset positions you to be limited when in fact it's a state of mind? And how do you change that? How do you make that shift? Well, I coined the word the actionaire. The actionaire is one who takes their ideas, their dreams, their vision, their passion, and they pursue them with courage and confidence and bravado. I'm trying to get more people to accept the concept of being an actionaire. The core word is action. And too frequently, what we find is we have great ideas, we have dreams, we have all of these thoughts and plans, but we never take action behind it. I'm sure that there are plenty of people who are watching us right now who said or have observed the fact that they had a great idea, and a year or two later, somebody else took that idea and made billions of dollars with it. Did we cut off? There you are.
I wanted to put the image of your book up on the screen, but go ahead, brother.
Okay. No, 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 fine. So if we look at if we take on the perspective that action is natural to the human, your body is always in action, your heart is always beating, your brain is always thinking. Everything about you is action based. The question becomes, why is it when you get outside of that, you begin to back off of it and slow down and ignore the reality that you have some brilliant ideas that could become extremely successful. Now, when my brother and I built our companies, I mean, I built a wireless phone company. I was probably the only black that's ever built and owned a wireless company, took it public, and ultimately was rolled up and sold. It was sold to Sprint. I did the same thing with a variety of the 8 or 10, or about 12 TV stations that I owned. At one point, some of them were sold for purposes of financing some of our other businesses. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a billionaire. I would just say that I built a company that had, according to CNN, that kind of value. So I love to clarify, and be precise with who I am and what I am. But who I am is someone who's taken the time to write the first book and the second book. Why? Because I believe that the strategies and secrets that I've learned to gaining wealth and authority is something that has to be shared. And the best way to share it long term is to write about it. Some people are asking, well, what's the difference between being rich and being wealthy, for example? And I tell people all the time, well, this is my favorite phrase: rich people scream, but wealthy people whisper.